Welcome back to SyrupDrop. I'm Jessica Bomiro, and this is my colleague, Igor Bonifacic.
Thank you for having me, Jess.
No problem. You probably noticed a bit of a change in the lineup. Our very own Rose Behar is on vacation, but I more than trust Mr. Igor to fill in for her.
I will try my best.
Well, some interesting Canadian telecom news broke this week as Wind Mobile announced that not only will it be launching its LTE network in 2017, it will be rebranding across its platform to Freedom Mobile. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Igor?
Right, so in I think somewhat of a surprise announcement, Wind Mobile, or formerly Wind Mobile now, announced that they're going to be called Freedom Mobile now. I think a lot of us were kind of set aback by the name. But more importantly, they announced that their LTE network is finally coming. That's on November 26th or 7th, I believe. And unfortunately, it's only launching in 2 cities, Vancouver and Toronto to start. And you're going to need 2 phones, either the LG V20 or the ZT X4 or Grand X4. Mm-hmm. Right. So exciting stuff, but still, it's going to take a while.
It is going to take a while, and in addition to there being only 2 phones on the network, there is a reason for this that Igor was explaining to me earlier today, that it is a frequency issue, and only certain phones carry this frequency.
Right, so they need to be either band 66 or band 4 compatible, and unfortunately the 2 phones that I listed are some of the very few phones that have the LTE modem that is actually compatible with those bands. So unless you really want that dual camera setup and the amazing hi-fi audio, really the V20 is your only choice. Yeah.
Well, let's bring it back for a minute. The LTE launch for Wind Mobile, or now Freedom Mobile, has been a long-awaited addition to Canadian telecom, and many have actually referred to Wind Mobile becoming a viable form of competition for Bell, Telus, and Rogers as one of the only ways for us to really get competitive pricing for Canadians for their wireless services in Canada. And now that this is launching in 2017, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, as we're going to see whether or not this actually takes place. Will a 4th national carrier that has over 1 million customers and a fairly viable network actually bring prices down for other Canadians? So it's interesting to see. We're hoping that this is the case, but obviously we're just speculating as to the branding choice that they went with. Why do you think Freedom Mobile was the...
Yeah, so our colleague and friend Peter Novak joked that they're going to get freedom from much better networks. I think for the kind of leadership core at Freedom was trying to think like, hey, freedom from the big 3. Is it a bit too literal? Perhaps. I was personally fond of the Wind Mobile branding, if only because it exists in other parts of the world, right? This is a brand that they paid money to acquire, and it's, I was in Venice and there was a Wind Mobile store, right? So it was this kind of interesting kind of juxtaposition between the old and the new. But anyway, I think, it really did come down to they wanted to create their own brand. It's interesting that they didn't go with Shop Mobile. I think that was kind of the obvious choice, and a lot of the branding was done there. But as Josh McConnell, who pointed out on our podcast today, which you should also check out, the Syrupcast, it's orange and blue, and Wind Mobile was orange and blue. So it was really kind of the bare minimum effort, and it will be known as Freedom Mobile from now on.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens with that. But
and we also have the freedom to make fun of it, right?
Yeah, we absolutely have the freedom to make fun of it, as journalists always do. But speaking of competition in Canada, Amazon Prime Video has been confirmed to be operational in Canada for a few select forms of original content.
Right.
And that presents some interesting issues, considering the lineup of events that we've had with Show Me shutting down and the CRTC hearing and all of this talk about streaming services in Canada and how we can become competitive in our own national market, essentially. You want to elaborate on that?
Right, so if you visit MobileSyrup.com, you can read the great how-to that Patrick wrote about how to watch Amazon Prime content. And if you're a Prime member in Canada, you basically have access to it, right? It's a kind of really interesting version because it's not full, it'd be a mistake to even call it a soft launch at this point because you have to go to the American site to access it. And then you're accessing this very specific section where it's content you can watch abroad, quote unquote, right? And so Yeah, so you can watch some of the original content. In particular, the one most people are excited about is The Man in the High Castle. The Ridley Scott original production. So that's one that you can watch. There are a couple others. As you know, I'm not much of a TV watcher, so it really doesn't matter
Igor
to.
still reads books.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, so but anyway, you can go onto the Amazon site. There's no like kind of official Canadian portal yet, but it's there. You can watch it if you have a Prime account, which seems to suggest that it's in the works, it's coming, right? Like so hopefully sooner rather than later, just because it is another option, and Amazon obviously has so much clout, has so much money that you just know they're gonna really step up their game and bring hopefully really interesting content.
Absolutely. And while we've been wondering here at MobileSyrup what the heck is taking so long and why they haven't actually brought Amazon Prime Video to Canada yet, I'm wondering what this means for competition in Canada for streaming services like ShowMe and Crave TV that are trying to compete with Netflix and already have a hard enough time doing that. And now this other international body is coming in with, wait, great, we have original content, we have a lot of money, and we have your customers already interested.
Yeah, big bad Jeff Bezos, right? So we'll see, right? Like, I think Crave TV has been doing, again, I don't subscribe to it, I don't watch TV, so I'm sorry guys, but from what Patrick has told me, it's pretty great. Like, the app could use some work, but it has some interesting content. Like, you can watch the HBO back catalog, not Game of Thrones, unfortunately, not Westworld, but hopefully, when those shows conclude, you'll be able to watch them. Yeah, so I think, Crave TV is in a pretty good position, so we'll see.
Well, speaking of Amazon, we have been following the pre-Black Friday deals all week, and Black Friday is finally here, which means that Cyber Monday is coming up, and we have a whole list of deals on our website ready for you to go and take advantage of.
Yeah, so visit MobileSyrup.com. It's right on the front page. We've been kind of very studiously collecting all the deals as they've been coming up. There's some great ones. Shout out to SyrupDrop for 256 gigabyte micro SD card, class 10. So if you want to record your own 4K video, that's where to go.
All right, well, thank you, and please tune into SyrupDrop next week. Don't forget to like this video and leave your questions in the comments, and we will do our best to get back to you. Have a great week.